In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to pack down the Robson XTT after you've set it up to get it ready for travel. Remember the golden rules. Step 1, return all the cushions to their original position as when you open the camper. So everything is flat and out of the way and won't interfere with the poles when we pack it up. Second step is remove the short upright poles at each bed end. Now retract the bow poles starting at the most extreme end, working back towards the middle, lower them to their lowest position and lock them back in with the wing nut. Repeat that at the other end. Now we're ready to lower the main bow pole. Lower the main center bow pole and remove it from the 2 Velcro sleeves attaching it to the roof of the camper. Lower the bow pole down and lay it flat on the cushions. Now the interior is ready to pack up so you can hop out of the camper and start closing it up. All my cushions are down nice and flat in their correct positions. All the internal bow poles have been lowered and the center one is now down flat on the cushions. I've closed the door up. You must have the door closed before you start folding the camper up. And now, just going to undo this zipper here. That makes it a little bit easier to get all the canvas tucked in. I can push all that in there. I've lowered all my windows and zipped up all my internal screens on the windows as well. That protects the fly screen. I've also lowered down the fly screen on the door. Don't pack your camper up with the fly screens rolled up, because when they bunch up and crease, you can actually damage the fly screens. To pack up the solar panel, I found a really easy way to do it is grab a second pole with a C-clip on it. Now what I do is I use that pole to support the panel and lower it down, which allows me to get this hook out really easily. Now, what I can do is push the panel in, control the pad bolt with this pole, lift it up, push it in, and just push it in till the pad bolt locks into place, and repeat that for the other side. Now, I don't have to reach across the camper when I put the boat rack down to lock in the solar panel. Now I can remove the rear stays, undo the linch pin, pull it out, and return it to the pole. If you leave the linch pin in the pole, you'll know exactly where it is next time you set up. Do that both sides, and then we can start getting all our canvas off the corners, tucked in, ready to fold up. Now I can close the rear lid, always the rear lid first, because the front lid clamps over the top. While that lowers itself down, give the canvas a bit of a tuck. Always find the best ways to tuck in and down. Make sure you get all the bunching out of the corners here. Repeat that the other side, and then I'll start closing the front. Now, to release the front lid, I need to undo the hold down latches. Get them out of the way, pull my canvas over the top. Now this one's released. Give my canvas a tuck in there, and I can start closing. As you do this, it's important to make sure that the tropical roof pole sits down and flat. So give it a nudge down, make sure it's sitting flat, not up, because that will make it impossible to close your camper and you're likely to bend something or tear the canvas. A good idea to make it easier is to squeeze the air out. Just pull the lid down, tuck the canvas in a bit more, do the other side, and I'll pull the rear lid down. Now as I bring this rear lid down, make sure everything's tucked in. I find the easiest way to do it is to put my elbow on top, pull it down and flick the latch on. Don't pull the latch down locked. That gives me a little bit of play so I can now go check the other side and tuck in any canvas that's still popping out. All the canvas is 100% tucked in, so I can latch down this side, clamp it down, another check. Also check the seals along the back of your camper all the way around. Make sure there's no canvas protruding through the seal. If you get any canvas poke out, what can happen is it will wick water into the camper if it comes into contact with rain or whatever. So you need to make sure nothing's popping through. If it is, reopen it, tuck it back in and go back to the start. Now we're locked in. Pull our front lid down, squeeze the air out of it. If you're struggling to get the canvas pushed in along this joint here, use a pole. Find a spreader pole or a window pole and give it a bit of a push in. Air squeezed out. Now I'll go and tuck the other side in and start lowering it. I've tucked in the other side, partially latched it down so the lid's being held down. Now just finish off making sure everything's tucked in here. Again, checking the seal across the front. Now get the latch on and I can latch it down. Now dual folds are a little bit unusual in that they have a seal that runs right across the middle of the camper. Now to make sure you've got pressure on that seal, there's two ways to do it. I've released that and it's come up a bit, so I can feel the tension in that. If the tension is increased now that that's off, it means that I'm getting good seal compression, where in actual fact right now I'm not. So I either need to tighten this one or back this one off. Now looking at this, I've got well in excess of 50% seal compression. That's probably too much. What you want is between 30 and 50% compression of the seal to make sure it locks. So what I'm going to do is back off this one slightly. Now when I bring this one down, I can actually see this seal compress slightly more, which means I'm getting pressure on the seal that runs across the camper. Do that on both sides. This seal is critical to ensure if you get any water under the cover or whatnot, that it can't actually enter the camper. So remember that. That's quite light to release now. If I release that, the weight increases dramatically. So pull this down, watch carefully, and you'll see that second seal compress. You know those locks are adjusted correctly as a pair. Now I'll repeat that on the other side. Remember to return all your linch pins to the over center latches, to each side, and return our little door hook to its captive position there. You don't want that flapping around while you're driving and scratching the wheel arch. Now I can fold up my steps. So you undo the over center latches, pull them off the post, then tuck them up out of the way. Give it a bit of a lift, then return the over center latch back on the post, latch it into place and return the linch pin. Best way from the top down, lock it over, lock up our other side, and again put the linchpin in place. That's locked up and secure. Now I can lay out my cover and attach that. And I do that before I put the spare wheels up in place, just to make it easy to get to the bungee cords. Now I've got my cover on. There's the reason that we supply a PVC travel storage cover with this trailer is people are fallible. As humans, we sometimes make mistakes. And if for some reason you actually don't get your adjustment of the latches to get the right compression on the middle seal, this is our belts and braces protection from water getting into the camper. So it's just always use it. Use it while you travel, use it while you store it, and a secondary cover isn't a bad idea as well. The cover itself has socks here for the boat rack latches, and at each gas strut there is a flap and Velcro to go around the strut. What that'll do is it'll secure it and reduce it flapping while you're driving around. Now that that's all in place, I can lower my boat rack. Because I don't have the dexterity to push one of these bars in with my foot, hold my tongue left of center, and push the other one in when I want to close the boat rack, the easy way is to pull the pin out. So if I take this pin out, give it a bit of a nudge, that's released one of these arms. So now when I push the boat rack over, I only have to push the other one in as I push it over on my own. That makes this so easy. I can control the boat rack going over, no problem at all. Get my latches out of the way. So now I can attach my over-centered latches to the tongue on top of the lid inside the sock here. Lock that up, then close my sock up, adjust it up to keep the water out. Don't forget to do the other side. Now, on to packing up the spares. So when packing up the spares, your main locking pin is this one. It comes with an R-clip. Once the spare is up in its vertical position, it slides through there and you place the R-clip back in, and that is your belts and braces in terms of holding it up. And there's two over center latches to clamp it firmly in place. So we'll get these popped up and we'll be just about done. Lock our latches, pop our pin through. Now put our R-clip back through the pin and our linch pins through our over center latches. That is a great deal of protection to make sure these things stay upright in place. Packing up your camper, getting ready to travel, you need to return the Truma hot water fluid back to its original condition. So you've turned your gas off, the system's turned off. First we return the Truma cover back on like so, and then just close up the secondary cover and you're ready to roll. Now we can pack up our stabiliser leg. So put our speed brace on the hex drive and wind the leg up, pull the blue handle out and lift it up into place. Always give it a wiggle, make sure that blue handle pops back in. That locks the leg up, it can't fall down while you're traveling. Now we'll give our trailer the once over, check all our pins are in, everything's locked off, and we're ready to hitch up and move. So there you go folks, that is how to pack down your Robson XTT. Simple as that, follow all the correct steps, make sure that you don't force anything, and you'll have a good time doing it. Also, go to our YouTube channel and refer to the masterclass video on setting up the ensuite tent for this model camper and the masterclasses in general, as well as the handover and setup videos for the Robson XTT.